This is Ed Rogers, and I'm here to show you how. It's all connected. Today I'd like to connect the dots by revealing the common thread running through these questions. Why won't our president secure our borders? Why is he at war with Republicans and the police instead of ISIS? Why is he bringing Syrian refugees to America despite overwhelming opposition? Why does he continually defend Islam and blame Christians? And finally, why is he pushing gun control so hard? Actually, uncovering Obama's underlying strategy isn't all that difficult. To understand what makes a person tick, you simply need to understand who his mentors were in his formative years and what they were teaching him. So let's look at a few of those mentors and influential friends. Obama's brother Malik confirms that Barack Obama was raised as a Muslim. During numerous interviews, our president referred often to his Muslim faith. From age 11 to 18, Obama's mentor was Frank Marshall Davis, who was responsible for setting Obama on his current career path. Davis was an ardent communist. Sometime during his youth, Obama was introduced to the teaching of Saul Alinsky. Alinsky's mission in life was organizing a revolution that would destroy the American system, which he saw as unjust and oppressive. Obama became fascinated with the writings of two Marxist professors who, in 1966, had presented their long-range plan to destroy capitalism and free enterprise in America. Columbian professors Andrew Cloward and Francis Fox Piven had devised a plan to provoke chaos by deliberately overwhelming governmental systems and the U.S. economy to the point of collapse, allowing the ultimate replacement of America's free enterprise republic with a state-directed national system. Then there's Bill Ayers, the unrepentant domestic terrorist of the 60s, who became one of Obama's bosom buddies during his time in Chicago. More recently, the president's two most trusted friends and advisors, Iranian-born Valerie Jarrett and David Axelrod, can also trace their political heritage back to Frank Marshall Davis and the Chicago Communist Party USA of the 1940s. To answer the 5 questions from the beginning of our program, we must understand how these people think and what drives them. Only then will we be able to discover our president's real agenda, the common thread that connects everything he does. All of these folks are members of the radical left, and the goal of the radical left has always been, and still is, to seize complete and absolute power, regardless of what they claim. Even today, every item on the leftist agenda, from health care to protecting the environment through their climate change agenda, is simply another way to seize and keep power. They see the world as consisting of haves and have-nots, and they're determined to redistribute the wealth to make everyone equally powerless, with all the power going to them. Stifling the independence of every American is crucial to their goals. One of Alinsky's lessons to his followers was this: avoid wasting time on small disruptions to the capitalist system. You should think big, really big. Your opponents will never imagine that you're actually out to destroy the system, so they keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. Take whatever they give you and then go for more. Do whatever it takes to bring the capitalist system to its knees. Barack Obama and the rest of today's leftists, who have pretty much taken over the Democratic Party, are following the Alinsky model, which says that you must not paint yourself into a corner by clearly defining your goals and agenda. You must be political relativists. In Alinsky's mind, the revolutionaries' purpose was to undermine the system and see what happens. The goal was to transfer power from the haves to the have-nots, but the methods had to remain flexible, constantly changing as the establishment reacts. If you ever wondered how the civil rights movement under Reverend Martin Luther King degenerated into the victim mentality so prevalent in the black community, you can stop wondering. It was all part of a carefully orchestrated Alinsky strategy to inflict chaos into the system. What all this means is that the apparent cause, oppression of blacks, women's rights, voter suppression, or whatever, is never the real cause. It is merely a smokescreen so the left can advance the real cause, which is the accumulation of power to make the revolution. Consequently, to think that Barack Obama wants the same things that most Americans want is illogical. It would be like expecting a typical impressionable American high school grad who attends a liberal college with all far-left professors to emerge as a staunch conservative. It's not going to happen. Likewise, to expect Barack Obama to work for a stronger America is unrealistic and dangerous. We must see him as the Islamo-socialist that he is, and understand that his goal is to destroy the system that made us the greatest nation on earth. This brings us back to where we started, answering the 5 questions. Why won't our president secure our borders? Keeping our borders unsecured will put such an economic strain on the system that it will collapse. It's the Cloward-Piven model in action. It will also facilitate an influx of future Democratic voters, turning states like Texas from red to blue, ensuring that the left will control the White House forever. The undesirables who enter will help to inflict the chaos necessary for the revolution. Why is he at war with Republicans and the police instead of ISIS? Since Republicans pose the greatest threat to his and Hillary's agenda, they must be destroyed by lies and smear campaigns. This is why Hillary openly declared that her greatest enemy was the Republican Party. The power of the police must be weakened since they provide the first defense against civil unrest. Tension between the police and the black community must be maintained and increased to bring about the chaos necessary for the revolution. Why is he bringing Syrian refugees to America despite overwhelming opposition? The influx of so-called Syrian refugees inflicts extreme economic hardship on our system. It costs 12 times as much to settle these people here in the States as opposed to an Arabic-speaking Muslim nation in the Middle East. It also floods our nation with Muslims, and most likely terrorists, furthering his goal of ultimate Muslim domination over America. Why does he continually defend Islam and blame Christians? Since Christianity poses the greatest threat to his Islamic agenda, Christians must be portrayed as barriers to social progress, while Muslims must be seen as victims. Never forget his famous words from his UN speech, "The future does not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam." Why is he pushing gun control so hard? Since an armed populace poses a serious threat to the revolution, citizens must be separated from their guns. People who are proficient with their guns must be somehow neutralized. Think about the VA scandal and connect the dots for yourself. So here's a recap of the goals of our president's mentors. Redistribute the wealth, promote a victim mentality, undermine the system and see what happens, accumulate power to make the revolution, and destroy the system. I hope this helps to explain why Barack Obama does what he does. And lastly, I'd like to lighten things up a bit. Here's my thought for today. The roundest knight at King Arthur's Round Table was circumference. He acquired his massive girth from too much pie. And now you know. I invite you to check out my website at edrogers.net, where you'll see my books, blogs, and newsletters. Until our next program, this is Ed Rogers, showing you how. It's all connected.